Hello, everyone. Once again, it's Adele Bernard from Transition Clarity. We're having another session today, and I'm delighted to invite Yvonne DiVita. Yvonne is a book whisperer, an author, and advisor. Yvonne lives in the cave where she hovers over a desk with a pen and paper, writing ferociously every day. Or maybe that's a house and a keyboard and writing with a great concentration and passion. Where she's not writing, she's reading. From 9 to 5 daily, you'll find her working with smart, talented writers, coaches, from coaching them on their current and next powerful book. She is a sought after podcast guest, a top writing voice on LinkedIn, and was included on LinkedIn's 100 Women to Watch in 2022. In 2015, during her blog pause years, she was honored with the title of Woman of the Year in the Pet Industry Network. Today, she brings 20 years of study and experience to the fields of writing, publishing, and marketing books. She also wants you to know she wrote her first short story in second grade and her first novel in seventh grade. What a powerful introduction to an amazing woman, and I'm honored to have her on Authentic Conversations. We're going to welcome her in. Okay, here she is, Yvonne. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's awesome. Like, I remember meeting you like a year and a half ago going, if I ever wrote a book, that's the whisperer I need. So,
Oh, so a friend of mine gave me that title, a friend that I've known for many, many, many years, and she started calling me the book whisperer. You need to meet my friend, the book whisperer. And I'm like, "Oh, I really like that. I'm
yeah.
going to use that."
Well, and I've been named the house whisperer. So
Yeah,
we're in good company whispering.
exactly, exactly. And people know what it means because
Yes.
so many people understand the concept or the idea of being a whisperer of something.
Yeah. Well, and so I want to go back a bit to go forward. How did you become you, this writer, this this person who loves literature, who actually can edit it, not like the rest of us, um, that, like you don't mind sitting at your desk 9 to 5 per
No.
se, doing all
No,
this.
I started writing stories, little short stories. I would draw pictures and write short stories in second grade.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of an outlet for me because I had a rather troubling childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was kind of my way to feel better. And so all my stories, Adele, or about getting a dog. All I ever wanted was a dog. Could I please have a dog? And I don't, when I look back, I don't know how I knew that I would like to have a dog. It's in second grade. I don't remember who might have had a dog and that I might have like fallen in love with a friend's dog or something, but
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a dog. So I would write stories about dogs. And the teacher called my mother in and said, you have to talk to her because she won't do anything but write stories. She's not doing any of her other schoolwork. And
Yeah.
so I must have done the schoolwork because I went on to third grade and fourth grade and all of that. And in seventh grade, I wrote a full novel. And it was just something I did. It was just something I enjoyed. I liked reading a lot. I read a lot. I would go to the library and take out a couple dozen books and I'd read them in 2 weeks. And then I do a book report on each one of them. And
Wow.
I was just this child who was fascinated by the power of words to actually tell stories and take us to different places. And and the variety of stories that you could get and the different kinds of books. And so I just decided that's what I want to do also. And in school, in high school, when we graduated, I was voted most likely to get published.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
it was cool. And I didn't get published for another, I don't know, 10 years maybe. I got busy doing things that people do. Um, but I did get published, and I had a column in my local newspaper for a while. And it was just something I love to do. And it was later on, many years later, that I discovered, gosh, I can help other people who are writing books because it can be a hard job. It can be a confusing job. And a lot of
Mhm,
people, especially today, because there's so many different ways to
mhm,
actually get a book published, people are confused. So I thought, well, I know I've been studying. I wrote a book and got it published by print on demand. I opened my own print on demand publishing company. I was the technical editor on a book from HarperCollins. And it was just something that I said, if I can help other people achieve the dream of writing a book, that's what I want to do. And so
yeah.
I started doing that.
Well, and that's fascinating too because, um, well, one, just the fact of you wanted a dog, um, that's usually a sign
Hmm.
that things are going on in the home
Oh,
because
really?
dogs or cats are emotional animals.
Mhm.
So they help us as young children with all the emotions that we don't know how to deal with. Like
See.
in the adults around us, and we're like, but if you had a dog, they just
Mhm.
cuddle. They just love on you. They don't and so that's very interesting that, you you were looking for that dog and
Mhm.
didn't receive it. But then on the other hand, having that, like, I mean, I've been a writer in a journal that never people never saw.
Mhm.
Um, I used to call them my dump pages,
Mhm.
right? Because it was like at the end of the day, I'd crawl into bed and I'd write the day out. Was it healthy? Maybe, maybe not. I really don't know to this day, right? Because maybe a lot of the like, well, he said this and she did this, and it's like, did it really matter in the big scheme of things? No, but we were kids and that's what we did.
Mm.
Um, and I never got to that writing part, but then it's also interesting too of everyone I'm talking to lately, it's not about the blog post or the feed that you're writing. It's about who can tell the story.
Mhm.
The story is gonna sell the service. Well,
The
tell me,
story,
yeah.
um, so I'm shying away now from telling stories
Mm-hmm,
because too often when we tell a story, we
mm-hmm,
get hung up in the details of, well, this was where it was and this was what happened.
mm-hmm,
And we think that by giving people the PowerPoint presentation of the story,
mm-hmm,
that they will get the story meaning, and they don't. So I'm trying to help people understand how to share the story, how to create something I call a story ballet,
mm-hmm,
or a creative narrative.
mm-hmm,
And I'm telling my nonfiction authors, I mostly work with nonfiction authors, I'm telling them that they have to bleed on the page. And this is the act of putting yourself out there openly and vulnerably,
mm-hmm,
and not just saying this is where it happened and this is what happened, but actually bringing the reader into the story so that they're part of the conversation,
mm-hmm,
so that they're sitting at that next table, hearing you go through this, watching you cry, noticing that you fell down and how you got back up. So I'm kind of veering away from telling stories
mm-hmm.
and teaching people how to share them.
Yeah. Well, and that's so important too because I find like for me, if you're in the story, you're in stuck in the past,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what details, what did you overcome? What can you use out of that story to propel you forward? What do you want to grow on? It's like when I was helping people find work, right? And I'd say, okay, so what are those soft skills that you want? What was that? And I'm like, I don't care how many spreadsheets you can run at 100 miles an hour, right? Like, I don't, like, that part
Yes.
doesn't matter. How are you going to fit in this new team? What are your soft skills? Are you
Yeah, yeah.
caring? Are you compassionate? Are you like, right? Well, I don't, that's not part of work. And I'm like, that is why people are getting hired.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
For
the
sure.
resume might get you in the door, but it won't keep you in the door. Because if
Right.
you have
So
that interview and you don't gel, you're not getting the interview, you're not going further.
because the bottom line is that you can be taught how to do what you need to do in whatever job you're being hired for.
But if
But
no
you
one
cannot
wants to sit beside
necessarily,
you to teach you, it doesn't matter.
if
It's
you
so
can bring those
true.
soft skills, then you're a step ahead because now you can become that manager and that supervisor and then that junior executive and et cetera, et cetera. Um, and all along the way, you're learning new things and you're teaching yourself new things. But if you don't have, so if you don't have the compassion and the empathy, you
Mhm.
have to have both. So we talk a lot about, I see on LinkedIn a lot, well, you have to have empathy. Leaders have to have empathy. I'm like, it's all well and good to say, I empathize with you. But the compassion says, yes, you can have that day off, right? It's
Yeah.
the action behind the empathy because just the empathy alone really won't do it.
Well, and the empathy, like as a person who's very empathetic growing up, could feel and sense and
Yeah.
everything. It was hard because people didn't know what to do around me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm.
there she goes again. I'm like, and so that's where for me, it's like someone holding that space. Oh, here's a prime example, story or not, whatever. Um, I was out I was out at this park that we have, and we're doing a silent walking meditation for a couple
Mhm.
hours. And we go to start heading back to the cars. Well, everyone decides to go up the really steep hill. I can walk till the cows come home. I'm not a steep hill person, right? Then I look down and I have the absolute wrong shoes to try get up this steep hill.
Mm.
So am I going to get left behind or am I going to try to go up?
Mm.
5 steps in, I was like, whoa. I had 3 people behind me. We got you,
Ah.
right? And one person saying, do you need a hand? I said, well, now I want to do it.
Yeah.
So knowing that I had the support behind me, I
Mm.
just inched my way up, got to the top, did my little dance,
Yeah, and
right?
right. Yep.
Because I didn't want to look like the only person out of the group that couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And was it the best shoes? No, but I just took smaller steps. I didn't get stuck in the story of I can't do it or I don't want to do it,
Right.
right? I just did it smaller. But then the next day I was like, why does this place just keep kicking my butt? Right? 'Cause,
Ah.
like it's like up and down hills and I grew up on this hill. And more importantly, I shouldn't have gone. I had had a super long day. I was spent,
Mm-hmm.
but I had committed to a friend to take her.
Okay.
And so I'm like, eh. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like, so that's what I'm saying about the soft skills, about the, okay, so some hiccups have happened in your life. What are you moving forward with?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it was hard, but it killed me? No. Like, was I supposed to go?
Right,
No, but
right.
I went and I made it.
Well, if you think about life as I do two things. It's either a major catastrophe
Mhm.
and and those are few and far between. They're there, but they're few and far between. Or it's a minor inconvenience. Literally everything is a minor inconvenience. you're at a red light and you're late for a meeting. Minor inconvenience.
Yeah.
The world is not going to end if you're late to that meeting. And if
Yeah.
you get to the meeting and they're gone or what, the world is not going to end because that happened. So when I look at things that way, and it's going to be a long time to learn to look at things that way, I started realizing that I had control over the minor inconveniences.
Mhm.
So that if I got stuck at that red light and I was going to be late to a meeting, I could say to myself, this is your own fault. You knew the traffic on this street. You knew that you should have left extra time. You knew that if you left a half hour
Oh,
earlier, you
see?
might be 10 minutes early, and so just pay attention and next time go earlier.
See, and it's funny, right? So I totally spin it. I go,
Yeah,
red lights. Am I really that early? Awesome. Thanks for slowing me down. Or I
I'm not
I'm
that good.
no, but I'm also, well, I don't know why I'm being slowed down. Maybe they're clearing an accident. Maybe you don't know. Like you just don't know, right?
Sometimes
So it's
I do
like,
that. Sometimes I
yeah,
do
so
that.
it's like,
Yeah.
and so I just kind of went, I must be early. All right. And then
Yeah,
when
and
I
I
am running
typically,
late, I go, dang, I really messed up on time. But time's an illusion. Do your
yeah,
magic, please.
yes,
And so I
time
let the
is
universe
something,
clear it
it's
up.
a construct that humans have created. I mean,
Yeah.
the dog, as much as we like to say to ourselves when she comes in at 5 o'clock and wants dinner, we say, how can she tell what time it is? She doesn't tell time. She just has this sense and she operates the dog, the cat, whatever, the trees, they operate on a whole different level and it has nothing to do with time.
But
So
they're
when people,
also very in tuned with their own body because they don't have the distractions like we do that
and
says, okay, my tummy's been growling for a while. Mama,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
dinner time.
Well,
Or I
also
think I have to go out.
well, yeah, those are tuned into the body, but I also think that they're tuned into us.
Hmm.
And so on a regular basis, what time do we stop and go in the kitchen?
Hmm.
And then on those days when we're not, that they're like coming in looking at you like, well, why aren't you in there? And
Yeah.
then daylight savings time happens, and
And
then they're
everyone's
like
messed up.
they're really annoyed because it's either early or late. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really think that we humans put too much focus on time per se. Uh, and I like to what you just said. I often will say, oh, instead of saying, "God, this was an awful day, this was a terrible day," I'll say, wow, that was complicated. What did I learn? Did
Yeah.
I, what did I learn today? And I find so many amazing things I learned. And some of them are just that I learned that I can handle all these things
Yeah.
that they didn't fluster me and I got through them and maybe I like to leave Adele, I like to leave my desk at 3 o'clock. So maybe I was stuck there till 4 o'clock, but I actually had fun because I was working on somebody's book and I really liked that book.
Yeah. Well, and it's true, right? Because as time is the illusion, um, I think one of the best things I ever did was stop wearing a watch.
Mm.
Because if I really want to know the time, I have
So,
one on a
so
computer, I have one on the
yeah,
wall, I have,
yeah, I do. I love having a clock or a watch. I don't let it run my life, but
yeah,
when I go into people's houses and they don't like have any clocks, I say to myself, how do they live? They don't have a clock.
but there
But
is one. It's on the stove, it's
and
on
on
the
the phone
microwave.
and
It's
right,
yeah,
right. But I love clocks, so I have a lot of them. And I just I don't know. It isn't that I have this illusion that time is nothing. It is something because in the day-to-day construct of our lives, we have meetings and meetings have time associated with
mhm,
them, right? So you have to be there and you schedule them and all that kind of stuff. But I also, I just, I like knowing somehow where I am in my day. And so it means something to me to see that it's almost 3 o'clock and my brain says, it's time for you to wind down. You're supposed to leave your desk at 3 o'clock. What do you have to do? Do you actually have to sit there and do whatever you're doing, or can you leave it? And then it's my choice. And that's the other big thing, choices.
Hmm.
People don't understand that every single thing we do is a choice. You choose whether or not to be happy. You choose whether or not to be on time, to eat that cookie or not eat that. I mean, it's a choice
Well, but
and
but
a
then,
privilege, isn't it?
well, I know, but then this is where you don't tell stories anymore. And I'm saying time's an illusion. So stop telling your story,
Ah,
right?
but stories are all
Because
the
you no, I know, but you can find those people that are constantly time watchers and they never make it to a meeting on time.
time.
It
I,
is
I,
fascinating that all of us that are just like, we're in time. Like if we're a little bit late, we're a little early. It's all good because we are always on time, no matter if we're watching the time or not. The ones
Mhm.
that are watching it, that it's actually paralyzing to them. It's quite funny.
That's so interesting. I never thought of it that
Yeah,
way,
it's
but
paralyzing. And I've had other people say that to me. Of like, this person's so fixated on time, but they cannot get anywhere on time.
how
Like so
interesting.
much so I had a girlfriend growing up who, if we had to be somewhere at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'd say we have to be there at 9:30
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
because we'd get there at quarter to 10, which is my perfect on time.
Well,
And she goes,
that's
"Why
what
do you
we
keep doing this?" And then she caught on to me. And I said,
oh,
"Because I cannot stand being late. Either we don't go to functions together or you're coming early."
well, my brother-in-law, um, he used to he was always late or something, and we'd say, "Why can't you get on time here on time?" And he'd say, "Well, you told me 6:30, so I figured you meant 7 o'clock, and it's only 7:30. What's the problem?" So that's how he operated. If you
Oh my
told him
gosh.
6:30, he would be an hour because he figured you just automatically meant a half an hour later, and he'd come, and we just laugh at it. So we always tell him way earlier, and he's probably caught on, but the point of the matter being, he was trying to make the point that these are family gatherings. And if he, for the most part, it wasn't something that he had to be there for. Although sometimes, um, if we were going somewhere like out to dinner, he would do his best to be as close on time as he could. But if it's a family gathering or something, and you're not there at 3 o'clock when everybody says, oh, it's starting at 3, and you come at 4, so what?
See, and I think that is a sign of disrespect.
No, I don't think so.
No, but I mean, right? So it's like, it's just like when cell phones came out prevalent, right? And it was
Mhm.
like, I said to some friends, I said, "Do you not like our time together?" Yeah. And I said, "So does our time not mean anything to you?" No, it does. And I go, "Then why are you bringing your phone?"
Mm.
I said, "I want my time with you. If we've scheduled an hour,
Mhm.
if you can't be away from your phone for an hour, then you don't respect my time, and that person on the other line is more important to you."
Well, yeah, I can agree with that about cell phones, but when it comes to my family gatherings, there are like 40, 50, 60 of us.
Oh, that's
So
different.
if he's not showing up, we don't even know whether he's showing up on time. The point being that he always by the way, he would always be first because family is the most important thing to him.
Hmm.
But he liked to joke that, well, you told me 6:30, so why do I have to be there before 7? And it was just this little family joke. And it always struck me that there are people who actually do that. And whether it's a family gathering or something
Hmm.
else, to your point, and then it is rude and and there are people I know that I literally will have to tell them a half an hour that it's going to be a half an hour
Yeah.
earlier, otherwise they won't show up on time.
Yeah.
And
Well, and I mean, it's even like, like going to this park on Thursday. Like my day was running late And then I
Mm,
started to pick up my friend, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so late. So quickly gave a text, running late, I'll catch up if you have
mm,
to, because I don't want to hold the group up, right? If the group
right,
is ready to
right.
go, like go, I'll catch up, right? And yeah, I wasn't the only one running late. So like half the group was running late. It was so funny. So I'm like, okay,
But
stop.
at least you tell people. I mean,
Yeah, right.
that's the great
It,
that's the
yeah,
great benefit of cell phones, because in the old days, if they were already on their way to wherever it was you were going to meet, you couldn't call them on the phone and say you
I
were going to
know,
be late, right?
I know. But
So
so obviously we got on this time kick. How does the time kick roll into um like book timelines? Like if someone's thinking about writing a book, like how do they just start writing and then like later you start massaging it, or do they start formalizing it right as they start writing, or does that slow down the process of getting the everything out? And the reason I'm asking this is because like um This Is Us was one of the biggest shows on TV,
Mhm.
right? The podcast is making the show look like Mickey Mouse Kindergarten.
Yeah.
They're ripping apart every episode. And the
Mm.
writer had the first part of the series and he had the ending because he thought it was going to be a movie. He never thought it
Oh,
was going to be a 6-year series,
oh
and he
wow.
had to film it. And he said like half the time they didn't even know what was going on because they had the kids, they didn't have the kids, they had the teenagers, they had the babies, like he was filming everything all the time for the 6 years. So
Uh,
as the actors, they were just as shocked how it came out as we were.
Right, right.
And so the podcast, like I find this amazing, but that's just me. So how would you say an up and
So
coming writer person?
people want a process. They're like, they'll write to me and say, what's the process?
Hmm.
And I have a process. Someone else who does what I do has a different
Hmm.
process. And in the end, there are several things to think about. First of all, what is the message that
Okay.
you're sharing? And how timely is that? So if this book doesn't come out for a year, is that message still timely? Or does this book
Mm.
have to come out in 6 months? And there are some places that do them in 3 months, but we could talk about that sometime and why I'm not a fan. So you have to say, what are you trying to accomplish with the book? Then you have to say, who is the audience? So
Okay.
when you say, who is the audience, you say to yourself, well, if it's this group of people, because it isn't all 7 or 8 billion people on the planet, although every author who's ever written a book thinks that their book is for every person on the planet. So we drill down until we get to a small core group. And when I say small, it could be a few thousand people or whatever. But we want to understand these are the people that are going to have the most benefit from the book. These are the people that whose lives you're writing the book because you want to transform them or change them somehow. So where do those people hang out? And generally for us, they hang out on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it
So that
because it's a LinkedIn has a different grouping of people, like more
it's a
business
more
minded,
business
more
focused platform than Facebook or
okay.
Instagram or any of those
So
places.
you tend to do more business focused books?
Yes, most
Okay.
nonfiction business focused or memoirs or things like that.
Okay.
Um, and so then we have to say, let's look at some of these people who are in this market and what they do on these platforms. When do they go there? Are they there in the morning? Are they
Mm.
there in the evening? So you've got to look at that's the big picture where you're saying, okay, now here is what we know about how soon the book needs to get done, who the audience is, where the audience hangs out. So the author can do one of several things. They can start from scratch with me, and we will talk about what kind of an outline they should start with, because that will be
Okay.
their tentative table of contents. It probably will change over the course of the book, but let's create an outline. And then he or she starts writing. And then I take chapter by chapter and I go through line by line by line, paragraph by paragraph, and we work on it, we massage it and we polish it, and then we go to the next chapter.
Yeah.
And then, so we're keeping in mind all this other stuff we already figured out, right? But some authors come to me with already created content that they want to turn into a book. So it's either content that might be pulled off of LinkedIn. It's content that's either on a
Oh,
blog or on a article, a news magazine or something they write for. One author came to me with 50 combination blog posts and magazine articles that she'd written. It was a local publication that she wrote for. And so I took those, I organized them, I threw out a whole bunch of them, I got rid of them because I said, we're not having 50 chapters in this book. And then I said, okay, these are the ones I think that make flow into a book according to what you told me you want the book to be about.
okay.
And then we worked on each one of those together because there was more writing that had to be done, more storytelling and things like that. And then we look carefully at, as we're writing the book, we get like halfway through, then we have to think about the launch, because you have to prepare for that. It
Mhm.
just doesn't, you're done and now I'm going to tell everybody my book's out and everybody's going to come and buy it. No, it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
You can't build it, they will not come. I've told people all the time, don't be one of the best-selling books on Amazon that nobody knows about, because Amazon will put you into Amazon purgatory if
Yeah.
you're not out there marketing your book. So we got to talk about the launch and the marketing. So all of this fits into a package
Hmm.
that the author has to participate in, that there has to be a specific time frame for. So we work from, generally it's 9 months to 12 months. We've had some authors go as long as 18 months because the book was still, it's rather timeless. The concept or the content in the book is going to last a really long time, and
Hmm.
they want to get it right.
Hmm.
And there's the cover design, there's the back cover design, there's the blurb you got to write about the book, there is the front matter, the back matter. There's all of these things that go into getting the book ready to be put on Amazon. And a couple of our authors have chosen to work primarily with Ingram Spark, which was here before Amazon ever came
Oh,
along. And so if that's what authors want, we'll do that. But we recommend getting up on Amazon. There are boxes to click on Amazon where Amazon will submit the book to Ingram Spark. And people need to understand that having your book in Ingram Spark, which is a distributor,
yeah.
it doesn't mean that,
They're gonna distribute it.
well, doesn't mean that anyone's going to see it.
Yeah. No,
There's, I
I've
mean,
heard that.
people think they are, that, oh, I'm an Ingram Spark. Now people are going to find my book. No, not unless you tell them about it.
Well, okay, so this comes back down to like websites and people go, I don't have a website. We have to have a website. And they said, well, Google's my website, right? No,
Yeah.
and it's funny because like I have a web page. I don't even know what I have anymore because whatever. So I followed the rules and I did everything I was supposed to do. And then Apple, as a really high authority Apple, changed their algorithms. If you use Safari, you can't find me.
Mhm,
Done.
mhm.
So I'm like, do I care about my website? No. And I literally that day said I'm focusing on LinkedIn because until LinkedIn does a high thing that it's totally out of my control.
But so when you're saying you have a website, your website is your home base. whatever you're doing, book, business, or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
your website is your office building. And I'm coming to your office building, and in the lobby, you're going to have all these different places I can go. One of them might be Apple. One of them might be Spotify or iTunes. One of them might be, so on the third floor, I'm going to find all of the information I need to know about you. I'm going to find all of the information that I need to know about your podcast. So you have all these different places that I can explore and learn about
Mhm.
you on your website. And if you don't have that, what happens is what you just described.
Well, I
So,
know, but if you're on an Apple product, you can't get my website,
yeah, I don't know much
right?
about podcasts,
Again, well,
and
no,
but
no, it's not even a it's not even a podcast thing. It's an Apple thing. You get if you use Safari,
but there must be a way around that, is what I'm
it
saying.
has a pop-up saying update the app, and I'm like, it's not an app.
Um, yeah, in
Anyways,
the end, people, hmm, so I don't listen to podcasts on my phone, so I
oh
don't.
no, this has nothing to do with podcasts. This is actually the website.
Oh, it's an Apple website?
No, it's not an Apple website, but Apple has blocked me for whatever reason. So I just
Oh,
stopped.
that's
Yeah.
so that happens also. It does happen, and you have to find then somebody who figure that out. But in the end, what we tell people is if they have an author website and it has everything about the book
Mhm.
and it has links to Amazon and links to Instant Ingram Sparks or wherever it is, your own website, if you can want to sell it off of your website and you want to keep boxes of books where you
Yeah.
ship them out and you sign them and things like that. That's the best thing to do, because if you're depending on some other platform like LinkedIn or Instagram or
Oh
whatever,
yeah.
and
No.
they go away, then you've lost all of that. So
Yeah.
people
No, and
need
I
to understand.
agree. I agree. You
But
need it
people need to
all.
understand that they need to download their content from LinkedIn on a regular basis. Did you know you can do that? You go into the settings. I don't know off the top of my head right now, but you go into the settings, and I believe it's in the privacy section, and it will say to you, do you want to download your content and your connections? And you can, and you
Oh
should,
my God. Like,
because otherwise LinkedIn just keeps them.
well, I
LinkedIn's
know.
money off of it. Why shouldn't you have that information, especially your your posts on LinkedIn, for the people that write these elaborate posts? And you know there are many people who do.
I
They write these really fantastic posts. There's an ant crawling. Oh well. Um,
know.
Hello, ant. Are you lost? And if you don't download them, then you may lose them.
Well, that is a perfect point to, I don't have enough content for a book. And you
Yeah.
go, really? Are you one of those long posters on LinkedIn? Let's see. Let's download it. And they go, oh my gosh, look at all my content.
Right. And
Yeah.
those people, and most of us who post regularly, we're posting the kind of educational content that we would put in a book. It isn't, I'm not talking about just there are so I have a gal on LinkedIn that I love. She's one of my favorite people, and she basically does humor.
Okay.
A lot of her humor is, she's an editor, so a lot of her humor is based in the world of books and publishing and writing. And so they're great, but those are not going to be turned into a book. And she knows this. She knows this. But someone else that I see who's a coach who is writing these fantastic posts 2 or 3 times a week. And I'm like, after 3 of them, you have a chapter. Now, 3 more, you have another chapter. And
Yeah.
and it's just that easy. It's just that easy. It needs to be organized. It needs a little bit extra massaging and whatnot. But
Yeah.
you've already done the hard part. So you don't have to come to me and say, how do I get started? You already started. let's look and see where the pattern is. Let's look and see where the message is.
Well,
And
and that's why I love these podcasts because um not only am I able to share people's knowledge like you and other guests,
mhm.
I get so many nuggets that I'm like writing my notes every time. Go and fix this, go and do this. And it's just like, um, that's what I love about the podcast because like sometimes I have no idea who's showing up. They give me a call. Like we haven't really met. Like say you introduce me to Joe who introduces me
Right.
to Sally and Sally calls me and we have a conversation. I'm like, "Oh my God, you have the best message. Let's put you up." And then I come off the podcast absolutely shocked at their story and I'm like, "Wow, didn't know that was going there."
I agree. I see a lot of that. And sometimes I'm fortunate like you. I have a little podcast I do where people come on and just the amount of free information that they give
Mhm.
out and advice is just phenomenal. And but that's exactly what I think we as a human species, so to speak, even we in the business professional world, that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be trying to hide everything we know over here and just talk about these two bullet points of
Well,
stuff.
and this is how like whether it's networking, whether it's whatever, I've always considered myself a connector.
Yeah.
So from knee high to a grasshopper, do you know anybody who? And I go, I don't know. Let's go see. And I go through the Rolodex. And now it's getting bigger because we have more platforms. Who do we know? I don't know. I'll put an idea. And the one thing I realized through all the years that I've been in business and working corporate, it's like it's not what you know, it's
Mm-mm.
who you know.
Well, it's who you know, but it's also um kind of how you're able to connect them to other people. And it's to your point, I'm already thinking of people that I can recommend for your show. I'm already thinking,
Thank you.
gosh, I know some really fun people, but people who have something worth saying that other people would enjoy hearing about. I'm thinking I should make my little list here and connect them to Adele because it would be great for the show. And when we talk to authors who come to us sometimes with they come to us with stars in their eyes, and I understand that.
Hmm.
It's everybody is like, my book's the best book on the planet at this moment. And we have to say to them, well, maybe it is, maybe it's not, we don't know.
Yeah.
But in the end, it doesn't matter how good your book is. It matters who you can connect to it.
Hmm.
Who are you going to be able to tap into and say, hey, would you be a beta reader and read my book and give me feedback on it? Who can you say, would you do a book review of my book for me?
Hmm.
That's the thing is, if you don't have that, if you come to us and a lot of people don't have it, they don't really, they're on LinkedIn, they've got 200 followers.
Hmm.
And so we have to kind of teach them, well, you need to get out there now, and here's how you need to attract more followers. Here are the steps you need to take to get more attention. And the biggest thing, Adele, is not to write more of your own content, is to visit other people's content and comment, because then they want to know who you are,
Yeah.
and then they want to connect with you.
That's why I have mystery calls all the time. Because I'm
Mm.
like, I'm really sorry. I don't remember meeting you. Have we met? Nope. I followed your content. Or you wrote a great thing on so and
Yeah.
so's. I'm like, perfect. Now
Yeah,
let's get
exactly.
to know you because I have no idea who you are.
And that's the key. So when I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on someone's feed and someone new has written a comment, on the post. Okay, so I know the person who wrote the post, but I don't know the person who left the comment. And I think the comment is really great. And I want to connect with that person. And I go to their profile. First thing I do is look and see how active they are. Because I want to connect with people who are posting at least once a week. I don't want
Okay.
to necessarily connect with someone who only posts every 3 months. I don't I don't know how that helps anybody, including them. But I like to then see what they're about, what their header says about them, what their about says about them. I might even go into their posting and try and leave a comment on something. And then I might reach out and say, I really loved how you said this on your post last week, or I really loved the comment you left on Adele's post
Mhm.
yesterday. And then immediately they say, oh, it's that warm invitation and welcome, as opposed to, I really like your stuff. Could we connect? I didn't know. No.
Yeah.
Why you give me a reason to connect to you? Tell me what it was in my profile that you saw that you wanted to
Well,
connect.
and this is where I get like a little mystified, or I don't know. Is Do people know when they're using AI as a generator that's posting all this stuff daily for them that we can tell it's not them?
Most of the people who do that I talk to think that the AI they're using is so wonderful, no one can tell. So
But
it's
it's
hard
cold.
today,
It's
huh?
cold. It comes across cold. It comes
You can tell in a comment, especially because the comment is very, not just cold, but very
generic.
PowerPointish.
Yeah.
It's not,
That's a
you
good way.
yeah, it's like a bulleted list from PowerPoint. And
Yeah.
instead of, so I always do all my own comments. I don't use an AI. I never leave a comment that just says, this was a great post. That is the stupidest comment. Do not leave comments like that. LinkedIn doesn't like them, and neither do people who post you're commenting. I like to say to someone, I pull something right out of the post. I really thought this sentence spoke to me, and
So
I'm
do
so
you
glad.
find being a writer, editor, posts come easier for you?
Probably, but I
Okay.
still, there are days, I try to pre-schedule at least 2 or 3 days ahead on LinkedIn because I have so much other work to do. So I will spend an hour or an hour and a half, and I'll write 3 separate posts, and I'll have to have an image. I like to have an image with my posts. Sometimes I use emojis, other times I do not. It depends on how busy I am. And at least then I know I'm going to have content up there, right? And what comes easier for me, I think, other than, I have to think hard about my posts, because I have to say I am not keeping track as well as I should of what I've posted, so I don't want to repeat myself. And that's one of my challenges. Um, but the commenting comes easy to me because, again, I'm a very fast reader, so I can skim a fairly long blog post or a comment post on LinkedIn and pull out that sentence or that
Mhm.
couple of sentences that spoke to me. And sometimes I'll start the comment and I'll think, let me go back and look at it again. Because the last thing I want to do is make a bad comment. And I just I'll look at it again, and
Mhm.
then I'll post my comments. So I only comment on 4 or 5 a day, and I try to vary who they are, and I try to vary the next day who they are. But there are certain people, like the members of Boss Academy, if they post, I'm always commenting on theirs. I
Well,
try to
I
find,
just find like, I mean, I didn't go on my phone for LinkedIn yesterday, and I had probably over 100 notifications that like I can't keep posting on all of them.
no, you can't.
Like
So,
it's like,
but
so
but
I'm
so
going, okay, like I'm trying to figure out what the happy medium is, because it's like I can spend a whole entire day
Mhm.
chasing posts and adding posts and put
Mm.
my own posts,
No, no, no.
and then I'm
Look,
like, okay, now I'm 4 days behind on what I actually have to do.
yeah, no, I have far more notifications than that. But they have a section that says my posts and mentions, and I look at those first because I want to reply to someone who may have visited one of my posts or mentioned me in their posts. That's just nice. It's just
Well,
polite,
that's what I'm
right?
saying. Like, I'm not even talking about all the other ones. Like, I'm talking about ones that have mentioned my post, or I've mentioned their posts. They're responding back to me, and I'm like, oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, so you have to have a happy medium where you're able to manage that.
Yeah,
And I think people understand that. I don't I'm not able to answer everybody's or comment on every. Sometimes I'll just go if you put a comment on my post and I've responded because I don't get enough comments that I can't respond. So I will respond to your comment, thanking you in
mhm,
one way or another. And then if you say something else, I generally just put a like
yeah.
because I can't necessarily, it depends on what you said, but I can't necessarily spend a lot of time building that conversation
Well,
unless
exactly.
unless it's someone new that I really want to get to know. Then I'm going to take that time. But I do have a small group of probably 20 or 30 people that I try to check and see on a regular basis. I don't do it every day, but I try to at least once a week get over to where they're posting and say something or comment.
Yeah,
And then they always come back and comment on mine. And the challenge with LinkedIn is they want you to have more engagement. And so more engagement means more people that are second or third degree connections. And I don't get a lot of that. I get a little bit, but in the end, here's the kicker for me alone. Probably 60% of the people I work with come from LinkedIn.
yeah,
So whether I'm getting the views or engagement or not, I'm still getting people interested in talking to me about writing a book.
yeah.
So I don't care what LinkedIn does.
Well, and like, so LinkedIn's the more professional, whatever. Um, I tend to be right now getting them from Facebook, and I'm like, interesting.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm just following threads. I'm like, oh, that's really a good point. So I'll put my 2 cents in, and then, like, that's what I say. Like, when I say, when I literally have no idea who these people are,
Mhm.
whether it's because I changed my background on Zooms, I have no idea, but it's working. So who might argue? I just,
Exactly. That's what
I
I
go,
feel
sure,
too.
thanks, join,
That's that's what
right?
I just feel like people different. I think other businesses than ours and the kind of businesses that we're in, I think that they, if they're selling a specific kind of product,
Yeah,
like a software product, or if they're selling um, some kind of specific coaching or whatever, then I guess maybe they need to be concerned about all that because that's how they build
yeah,
their pipeline. But for me, since I don't work with that many authors, it's just Tom and myself, and then if I need extra help, we have a outside team we can tap into. I don't want more than 3 or 4 at a time. I don't I my brain isn't big enough to put 4 books at a time up there while I'm working on them. So
yeah.
I don't need every time I get one of these emails or something on LinkedIn that says, we can bring you 10 clients a week or 30 clients a week. And I'm like, what the hell would I do with that?
I
No,
know. I'd
no,
close
thank
shop.
you.
Like,
You
like,
did not look very carefully at my about because I don't want to do that.
well, and that's my thing too. If, like, when I I'm saying, like, I'm opening up 8 spots for this 3-month program. And
Mm.
then I even kind of went, really? Eight. Eight. How are
Mhm.
you gonna fit 8? And I'm like, they're alternating weeks. Okay, you can do 8. I had to rethink after I said it. I'm like, you don't have 8 spots. And I'm like, I do, because I have alternating weeks. But if you call me too many times on your non-week, I don't know.
Yeah, and
But
that's
that's
it.
okay. Well, I trust in the
Right.
universe that everything's perfect, right?
Yep. And
And
I agree. Yep.
and
That's what
so
I agree too.
and I like that you mentioned like you are a husband and wife team.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so they might link into you, but you might say that content's more Tom, or Tom
Oh,
might find somebody, right?
Tom
Like,
doesn't do content. So we do, I do the content. He does the book cover design. He does the interior design and produces the book. We both work towards the marketing, and we both make sure the Amazon description is well done. Um, and he does something we call the Go for the Gold international book selling program that we have. But there are people who will come to me and say, well, I already have the book. I just need someone to get it up on Amazon. I need someone to produce it and put it on Amazon. And then I'll say to them, oh, yeah, you need to talk to Tom. Let me
well, but
connect you.
I think what's beautiful about this is that you're a full service.
We try. Yeah. I
And
mean,
if
there are
you
some things we don't.
can't, you have feelers out in the field that can maybe nudge whatever.
Yep.
And so that's another thing. Like, because I have many friends that have written books, and they're saying it was an expensive greeting card, but they
Well,
learned so much about themselves, right?
well, there's that we tell people all the time. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. We don't want it to be an expensive greeting card.
Well,
If
no,
it
but
if
you
it
guys know what you're
becomes
doing.
so, right. But the key is the author has to understand their role, and it isn't just to write the book. There are so many other things the author has to do, and these are things we do work with them on. We do teach them and whatnot. So yes, in that, and if they don't want to do it, then yes, we can connect them with someone who will help them
Yeah.
do their social media, help them do LinkedIn or whatever it is that they are like, I'm too busy, I can't. Who's going to do? Because I don't do that part.
Well,
I
and
just teach them.
yeah, and you also have to like this is how I look at it. You could tell me I'm wrong. Is writing the book could be part of the easiest problem,
People think it's when they
right?
get done, they're like, and when we start working on all the other stuff, they're like, oh my God, I didn't know I had to do all this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
So it's like the disclaimer, caution flag.
yeah, yeah.
The writing of the book is just the first step,
Yeah,
right?
it's if you want the book to be part of your business, so
Hmm.
in our cases with nonfiction business authors, it's a platform to get you better speaking gigs because event planners love authors. Authors have a message and generally know how to tell it. Um, if you want to build mastermind groups out of it, this is a great way to do that because now people trust you. They've read your book. You can start the mastermind and give the book away as part of the program.
Hmm.
If you want to have uh, the big thing is we tell them how to you build a community. We have something called the how to market your book like a rock star, the Taylor Swift model of book marketing, because you want to build something like the Swifties. You want to have your own Swifties, and here's how to do it. And
Oh, she's genius.
if you do that, then you're not going to have an expensive greeting card. It's going to be a worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah.
Not to mention, even then, it shouldn't be just a expensive greeting card because if you've done it right, if you've worked with us and listened to us and let us teach you, people will automatically assign you a higher level of respect and consideration and authority because you've done something they're never going to do.
Yeah.
You've written a book.
Yeah. Wow. That like I don't know if we're leaving it on that note, but that was a powerful note that it is taking that step. And like as much as there are so many books out there,
Mhm.
how many people have never going to haven't written a book, never will write, and they have this amazing knowledge that they're not sharing. So
Yes, and that's
as we wrap up, how would you want to, what's your last thoughts? What's that?
here's my last thing is that when you write a book, it's number one, it's your legacy.
Hmm.
You're leaving this legacy. It's going to last a lot longer than you're going to last, number one. Number two, if you've done it for the right reasons, then it's going to return in value to you what you put into it. And it cannot do that by itself. So don't be afraid to talk about your book. Don't tell me when we're 3 months into the project that you're afraid to talk about it because someone's going to steal your idea. There is nothing new on the face of the planet Earth. So no one's going to steal your idea. Your idea is unique to you alone. And how
Hmm.
you present it in this book is unique to you alone. So you have to not be shy. Get
Hmm.
out there, be proud. Just don't shove the book down everybody's throat. Instead, talk about why you wrote the book, what the book means, what people will get out of the book. And then, just casually mention available on Amazon in September or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this has been fascinating. Um, every time I talk to you, it's just like more nuggets, more nuggets. I'm like, whoa, I don't know. Like, maybe the book's coming out. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah, we'll
But
see.
this has been fascinating. Again, this is Adele Bernard, Authentic Conversations. Our guest today was Yvonne DiVita, the Book Whisperer. Wow, episode 37 with Yvonne DeVita, the book whisperer. I hope you caught a lot of the little nuances that were brought up in this podcast. That is a limit. Sorry, time is an illusion. We use it to, yes, show up on meetings on time, but it's also just another construct, right? And also writing a book. Writing the book is the first step. The work comes after the book, promoting the book, marketing the book, making the book, like as she said, Tom produces the book. Did you even know you had to produce a book? I didn't know that. All these little things, these nuances that we take for granted that we think, well, I wrote the book, it's done. No, that's just the first step. And believe me, it's a great step. And like she said, so many books aren't written because no one will take the first step in writing it. If you guys want to write a book, Yvonne and Tom are amazing, and I would suggest you get in touch with them. Everything will be in the show notes, and I look forward to you tuning in next time. We'd love if you subscribed, liked, comment, tell us your thoughts on this episode or any other episodes that you tune into. Again, Adele Bernard, Transition Clarity. This has been another authentic conversation.